Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun, and be talking about the help, financial help in the UK given to people who live in Britain. Watch this video and the rest of the video follow this material to make more sense because this is a continuation. We'll talk about universal credit, which is the main financial support which is in the UK is known as benefit. Watch this if you live in Europe, America, and Asia, but also in Africa because benefit systems are similar because it is created under the system of capitalism, the government intervening with welfare state and welfare benefit to actually moderate the system of capitalism for people who are extremely poor and also for the many of the population. And the welfare state include money, include also services such as the health service, education, public transport, and housing, public housing, and in terms of finance, people need to understand that even pensions, including state pension in the United Kingdom or similar pension in your country or in your continent, this is also a state benefit. And child benefit in the United Kingdom, money given to children, and also for disability, for disabled or sick people, which is called sickness benefit, which are actually independent of universal credit. There are also within universal credit the sickness element of universal credit. There are about 6 different legacy benefits in the United Kingdom which form universal credit in its modern sense of the word. The biggest single benefit reform in the United Kingdom is universal credit. And today we'll be talking about work-related requirements in education or training. If you count it in full-time education or training, if you are on any kind of course that stops you doing work-related requirements, and this is actually relevant in the event where the DWP, the Department for Work and Pension in the United Kingdom, will require you as a part of the contract terms of your benefit, you may be required to do work-related activity. So you might be able to avoid work-related activity, and you might be able to avoid work-related activity by showing how your course helps you get ready for work, so you contribute to work-related requirements. And if part of the terms of claiming benefit in the United Kingdom is to be able to be available for work and also looking for work. And if you're doing something other than looking for work directly, this is what they are talking about. Then, and you might be doing some education or training, but within the policy requirement of the government in relation to state benefit. These kind of other activities should be related directly or indirectly to work, in the sense of doing, when you're doing this kind of work, training or education, there is an expectation that at the end of it there is a job. And if you want to know in detail, in fair detail, the information on universal credit, go to gov.uk in the United Kingdom. That is actually a government website. But you can also go to other voluntary organizations like Citizen Advice public website, public site of this organization are free to access, and you can always find them when you look online. And in the age we live in, the internet is critical. If you don't know how to use the internet, you're better off talking to family or friends or some other source of support. For example, visiting wherever you can visit to get help accessing the internet. And it's getting harder and harder with the public sector now closing down because of government policy and closing down the government, and therefore in the future closing also the state. So we are talking about universal credit, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, if you are new, If you have subscribed, thank you so much for your help, for helping this channel, subscribing to this channel. And if you're new, subscribe to this channel, share with family and friends, and to support this channel. And watch the rest of the video. Watch this video. That's the best way to support this channel. I'm talking about financial help in the United Kingdom. I'm looking at a financial help known as the universal credit. And if you are watching this video, it is related to the rest of the videos I have recorded about universal credit, about different topics. But these material relates to it actually relates to the cost of living crisis. The whole point about talking about financial support in the United Kingdom is relating it to the cost of living crisis, which topic I've been talking about for the full year, and the rest of the video is actually to illustrate this, because the cost of living crisis is a sign of changes are taking place in the economy and politics within the United Kingdom and also across the globe, bearing in mind that the United Kingdom is probably the most important country in the world leading globalization, because of the City of London, for example, which is actually the center of global finance. And with these, there are changes. Capitalism is actually strengthening. Government is shutting down to give way to private corporations to run the economy of the world. And then afterward, technology is going to take over to run the countries, and ultimately the economy will shut down, giving way to an age of freedom where the government and the law stop working, and the people of Britain, the people of the world, will be free of the state. And that is the idea. But there is also a possibility of seriousness where there are going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of violence, in which case we as the people of the world should learn our cultural economy. And our cultural economy has to do with respect, valuing humanity, where development is actually centered around humanity. I have repeated this point over because it relates to our destiny. Human destiny is number one. And that's why I'm talking about this. And that's why I'm asking you to support me in whatever way you can. And also pray for strength, for guidance, for leadership on this program, because this is big. And I want people to be involved, because it is our destiny as a species. If the way government stops, if violence does not stop, we will go extinct in the next 100 to 200 years. This is actually my prediction, but it could be sooner than later. We have seen wars without end, and this is because we have lost track of humanity. We respect money, we respect power, we respect everything else except human life on the streets, in industry, trade, and in every continent. I have repeated this point. I will be no ashamed to repeat it over and again. Join me in the discussion box and leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. If you think what I'm talking about is important, support it in every way possible. And we're going back to talking about universal credit. And so this is the money given by the government to support people who need help the most. That is the characteristic of the welfare benefit, part of the welfare state. And we will be continuing to talk about this as we go along. And you can also be moving to different work-related requirement group, which is, for example, we have discussed this previously, something called LCW, LCWRA, limited capability for work, or limited capability for work-related activity. And so these are actually some of the policies in relation to claiming universal credit. So if you're in a situation where you are actually studying, and if you are actually in full-time education, or you are actually training for purposes of the universal credit, and you are needing help, and we would be the expert advice team, because this is a complex area of the law. And you can check also if you count as being in education within the law, in regulation 12 of the Universal Credit Regulations 2013 on legislation.gov.uk. This is the government website to find this information. So if you count as being in education from the first day of your course to the last day you attend, this will be either the last day of the course or the day you leave or is dismissed from the course. This is actually in regard with your education or its authenticating properties in terms of the benefit, and also in the event that you count as being in education, and then there is the situation counting as being in education for purposes of universal credit. And from that time, from the first day of your course, the last day you attend, this will be either the last day of the course or your day, the day you leave or is dismissed, like I said. So in terms of school or university holidays, these still count as part of the course unless the course has finished by the time the holiday starts. This is actually your mode of authenticating whether or not you're a student for purposes of benefit. And so if you don't count as being in full-time education, in this situation, being in education, and if you not counting as being in education, then you can take time out, or you can, if you are taking time out of your education or course, and also the following situation actually applies to you. If you stop attending because you were sick, or if you are caring for someone who had consent from education institution, if you have recovered, stop caring for the person in the last year, but also haven't yet started your course. These are actually scenarios aren't eligible for a grant or student loan. You can also see Regulation 13 of the Universal Credit Regulation 2013 for when you count as being in education. This sounds complicated, but these are actually rules relating to your being in a situation to whether or not to claim universal credit one way or the other. And if you are actually a child and you turn 16, the situation or this when after that you are a qualifying young person until the 31st of August, and following your 16th birthday, in the sense of universal credit being available for people of 16-year-old and over, but also as a young person, but not when you are below 16, in which case you might get a different form of benefit, child benefit, for example, and also in a situation where you are not in full-time education, between 16 and 17, you might also be getting child benefit, in which case you might not get, you will most certainly not get the universal credit. So after that, you are a qualifying young person until the 31st of August, following your 16th birthday, and you will stay a qualifying young person until the 31st of August following your 19th birthday, if you are in education, study, or training, so that and that doesn't count as advanced education. Anything about A level, see Regulation 12.3 of the Universal Credit Regulation 2013 for detail. You also take an advantage, an average of more than 12 hours a week. 12 hours a week. This which isn't part of your work, which isn't part of your job. If you can't get universal credit, you cannot get universal credit if you are a qualifying person, but that you could count as a child if one of your parents claim universal credit. You can find out more about children affected by universal credit claims. So we are looking at a situation where parental support might be involved, and in the event where you might not be able to get parental support, especially if your parent have died, or if you can't live with the parent because you are estranged from your parents, and your physical or mental health will be at risk if you are actually with your parents. These are some of the situations, and your parents can't support you financially, for example, because they have a physical or mental health situation. These are actually details, and which are actually specific. And also, if your parents are in prison, and if your parents aren't allowed to enter Great Britain, this is actually to do with immigration in relation to whether or not you can claim a benefit in terms of estrangement. And being estranged doesn't have a fixed legal definition, but includes any breakdown of your client, your emotional relationship with your parents. It will usually mean you don't want to live with or spend time with your parents, or vice versa. If you, for example, don't want to live with your parents, or your parents do not want to live with you, this affects whether or not you can claim universal credit. These are details, and you might need to show evidence of estrangement, such as proof of where you're living, whether or not you're living elsewhere. You can also check at some details on gov.uk for details of estrangement. These are specificity, some of the specificities. You can actually, if you are looking after someone else in terms of whether or not you can claim universal credit, and if you are class F still having parental support, if you're looked after by a local authority, or if a friend or relative acts in place of your parents, acting in place of your parents must include giving financial support, but that alone won't always be enough. This is some of the situations whether or not you can get universal credit. And if you are not in the United Kingdom in terms of immigration controls, and if you are not a UK citizen, this kind of advice, also advising on universal credit and immigration status, these are actually complex situations in terms of casework. Or advice. So general advisors can help with your situation, with the universal credit issue related to your immigration status. And this topic is regulated by OISC. These are standards of advice which is actually set by the immigration authorities. So you can check on immigration advice whether it is regulated by OISC. You can check that on government website, and you might need to consult somebody who is actually important, or somebody with certain authorities, and to kind of like make sense or actually get the kind of advice you might not need. And if you live with your partner in a situation, if you you can only make a joint claim if your partner also passes the immigration and habitual racism test. These are some of the terminology related to immigration for purposes of eligibility for universal credit. And otherwise, you will need to claim as a single person, though DWP will still consider your partner's income and capital claim. And we'll discuss something similar, because normally with the means tested benefit, they focus on income. And so you can only get universal credit if your immigration status lets you claim a public fund. In the situation, you also need the right to reside. This is immigration situation and benefit entitlement. And you can claim public funds if you have any of the following: British or Irish citizenship, settled status from the EU settlement scheme, indefinite leave unless you came to the UK on an adult dependent relative visa, refugee status, humanitarian protection, right of a board adult, and so still looking at universal credit, and we're talking about adults who are actually dependent and where relatives have visa and coming to the UK as a dependent adult, and which you may have an indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom even though someone signed a maintenance undertaking for you. And if you came here under such situation, and it usually only affects people who came to the United Kingdom on adult dependent relative visa. For example, somebody who is a sick person who came for treatment where a relative or someone who is responsible for them might be in the United Kingdom. So these are scenarios involving the benefit system, and if you care to remember that indefinite leave to remain will actually qualify an immigrant to means tested benefit or benefit public funds of any sort per se. They would have what is known as recourse to public fund, and in this situation you can't apply for universal credit until 5 years after you arrived in the United Kingdom. The rule of 5 years rule, this has changed, but in the past it wasn't like that. It was actually open to people applying for benefit as soon as they arrive in the UK. But now this is what is prevailing in terms of immigration. You come, you have to stay here for 5 years within the rules, and then you can claim benefit. And or earlier, if you come earlier, if you are the person who signed the maintenance undertaking dies, and so if somebody dies, actually you can claim it perhaps earlier, like they say here. And if you have settled status, this is the permanent stay relating to the Europeans. It arose when Brexit happened in the United Kingdom, and we have something called EU pre-settled status, or within the settlement scheme, you can claim public funds, which means you have recourse to public funds. These are all to do with immigration and benefit. There are complex cases in that context, and so you will claim funds, public funds, but you also need to show you have the right to reside to get universal credit. You know, if you have the right to reside, I mean you are allowed to stay in the United Kingdom necessarily. So you decide to get universal credit. You can check the information on the right to reside per se, and therefore, if you have applied for the EU settlement scheme and you are waiting for a decision, you can claim public funds, but you also need to show you have the right to decide to get universal credit. You can check these also. If you have any other immigration status, check if your immigration status lets you claim public funds. For example, you need to check on your passport if you have recourse to public fund or otherwise, because this is actually the nature of benefit rules generally, but particularly universal credit. And therefore, if you are pre-settled status without the right to reside, you can still get universal credit if you are destitute, or this or there is an actual and current risk of of you becoming a destitute. So they protect condition of destitution necessarily, and the government haven't defined destitute in this situation yet, but you can check if you are you might count as a destitute person for purposes of benefit. So if you apply as a couple and you are in such a situation, and or if your partner are making a joint claim for universal credit, then you both need to be eligible. You will both need to be habitually resident and have either settled status or a right to reside. Habitual residency means you have been continuously been in the United Kingdom for a period of time for purposes of benefit. These are rules which now make it harder for especially foreigners to get benefit in the United Kingdom. So, therefore, if one of you isn't eligible, the other person can still apply for universal credit. You should make a joint claim because the DWP need to know about your incomes. So, like I said, benefit means in particular is always dependent on the level of income claimant might have or might not have. So, DWP process the claim. When the DWP process the claim, they will change it to a single claim. This means you or your partner will be paid as if you are a single person, because the one person may be eligible or entitled to, the other may not be. And you can look for you can actually look at you can find further reference for clients from outside the United Kingdom. So this is some of the situation you find pertaining to claiming universal credit in the United Kingdom. So in terms of immigration status, I mean not immigration but pension, if you or your partner has reached state pension, and if you both reach state pension age, and it's usually best for you to claim pension credit. Pension credit actually is the means tested benefit compared with the state pension and also work pension. This is a situation in the United Kingdom with pension credit, and also if those who are on private pension, they are all pension credit. You get it when you are not actually having enough money to live on after retirement. This is a situation where you probably your state pension is not paid sufficiently, or for one reason or another you still need to get pension. And situation with housing help, if you get state pension, just to digress a little, you get housing benefit and also help with council tax. That is the status of your claim if you are actually a pensioner in the United Kingdom. Going back to the universal credit, you at this pension age, state pension age, if you are actually couple or individual who are single and state pension, you claim. If you are actually a couple, you claim jointly. You're claiming pension credit. You can check what your state pension age is on gov.uk. You can talk to an advisor if you are not sure which benefit to claim, and they can help you work out when you're better off. So you talk about benefit calculation, which normally giving you an idea. If you have watched the other videos, then you will know that there's something called entitled to or return to us, which is actually the website. Most people use it wherever you want to go online to determine whether you are entitled to a benefit or not. So if you are someone who is over pension, someone who is over a pension credit age, which is actually pensionable age, can't make a new claim for working tax credits or child tax credits. Now, under these circumstances, if you can move between child tax credits and working tax credits, but can't make a new claim, and you can actually move between child tax credit and working tax credit. And these are actually work-related benefits, because if you retire, probably naturally it becomes actually not claimable. So you can use a benefit calculator like Lethal Grove's quick benefit calculator, turn to us, or entitled to work out how much you might be getting benefit. You can only use the turn to ask calculator if you are actually under if you are 18 or over. So that is actually the difference. Turn to ask calculator is actually related to age restriction. If you are underage, you can always use other facilities. And like I said, it's actually some of the information you get in relation to working your way around the labyrinth of benefit rules. And like we have actually said, thank you so much for supporting this channel, for watching it, and also for sharing with family and friends. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment below and let me know if this information is useful. But the main reason I'm actually providing this information to illustrate a wider point. If you watch the rest of my videos on on the cost of living crisis, I have represented it as a symptom of society of capitalism, where the public sector is closing down. And that's why you can see for yourself how complicated the information on benefit is. I mean, we are talking about people who are normal, and if you give them information of this kind, it's almost now impossible without the use of a professional to claim benefit. And these professionals are also restricted because normally they are funded by the government, because the government agenda, political agenda, to close down the public sector, which they have already done. What you now are left with residual. And this is to remind everybody to take responsibility for your life going forward. If you're a child, if you're an adult, if you are actually a human being living in the United Kingdom or elsewhere. And this information applies globally, universally. It is so important to prepare for the future. Look after yourself and find whatever way you need to depend on yourself, especially in terms of money, and also a form of in terms of livelihood. So when you are actually a pension age, you might be able to, if both are claimants, actually as couple, both of them have reached state pension age, for the purpose of people who are paying rent. And with rent also actually is related to housing benefit. So if you reach a state pension age, both of you, and you are paying rent, you might be able to get a housing benefit. You should check if you can get housing benefit. If only one of you has reached a state pension age, so you usually can't make a new claim for pension, credit, or housing benefit. That means you are not entitled to that by virtue of one of your partner not yet having reached state pension age, in which case you are actually treated as though for benefit purposes as though you are under pension age. So you would be advised to claim universal credit instead. So if you turn state pension age before the 15th of May 2019, and you are getting pension credit or housing benefit, you can keep getting it unless your circumstances have changed. You can make a new claim for pension credit even if only one of you has reached state pension age. If both of the following applies, if you have reached state pension age before 15th of the 19th of 2019, you have been claiming housing benefit or pension credit as part of some of the same couple since before 15th May 2019. You have been claiming housing benefit or pension credit as a part of the same couple since before the 15th of May 2019, or you should also check if you can claim housing benefit if you are paying rent. You don't need to claim universal credit if the person who hasn't reached state pension age is claiming income support, income-based job seekers allowance. These are legacy benefit, income-related employment support allowance, and also you can carry on getting the benefit you currently own So you can actually, if you are 16 or 17 years old, and you might be able to claim universal credit if you meet all the other conditions, and also one of these applies if you can't work because you are disabled or ill, you will need to give the DWP medical evidence showing this, providing limited capability for work, which is actually if you will need to have limited capability for work or be waiting for an assessment, provided medical evidence that you aren't fit for work, and if you have a child or expecting a baby in the next 11 months. This is a situation involving either sickness, disability, or actually pregnancy, which actually you tend to be grouped in a certain way for purposes of benefit, limited capability for work or relative capability for work-related activity. These are actually terminologies associated with universal credit. If you watch through the videos, you will find that I already discussed this. I'm actually trying to go through the finer detail of the rules of the law in relation to benefit in the United Kingdom. And if you have children, if you have children, and then if you live with your partner and your partner's child, then you're only eligible for universal credit if your partner is over 18 and eligible for universal credit. And you also meet this condition if you gave birth in the last 5 or 15 weeks, even if you are not looking after that baby. These are some of the rules. If you care for severely disabled person, and if you're caring for someone, you need to spend at least 35 hours a week caring for someone who gets any of the person any of these benefits. The personal independence payment, with the daily living component, disability living allowance, with the middle or higher care component, attendance allowance, constant attendance allowance, armed forces independence payment. Also, whether your parents have died and or you can't live with them. For example, if your relationship has broken down, or your health will be at risk, and you can check for parental support. And if you won't have a parental support, if your parents have died, or if they can't live with the parent, and if you can't live with a parent because you are estranged from your parents, and if your physical or mental health would be at risk, and your parents can't support you financially, for example, because they have a physical or mental condition, if your parents are in prison, if the parents aren't allowed to enter Great Britain, this is immigration. We have covered something similar to that. You can look at estrangement. What it means being estranged doesn't have a fixed legal definition, but includes any breakdown of your emotional relationship with your parents. It will usually mean you don't want to live with or spend time with your parents, or vice versa. Vice versa means your parents also is not interested in having a relationship with you, and you might need to show evidence of entrenchment, such as proof that you are living elsewhere. This is some of the information, and you can normally look at more information online, and in terms of universal credit. And if you look after, if you're looked after by someone else, and your class is still having parental support, if you are looked after by a local authority, or if a friend or relative acts in place of your parents. Acting in place of parents must include giving financial support, but that alone won't always be enough. And you won't need to look for work as part of your universal claim credit claim if both of the following apply. And you are in full-time education or training, you don't have a parent, foster parent, or local authority looking after you. These actually repetitive, but they are contextualized differently every time. If you have a special condition and your situation above where the situation above where 16 or 17-year-old can get universal credit called the special conditions. And you can look at this information online. If one person in a couple is age of 16 or 17 years, and if you then you meet if you meet any of the special conditions, and you can't be part of a joint claim, and your partner will need to claim as a single person, although the DWP will still consider both partners' income and capital when assessing the claim. Remember what I said before, this means-tested benefit means looking at whether you have the means, financial means. But say if you have money or savings or income, they will assess it in order to assess eligibility for benefit. If you are actually if you or your partner are both under 18, then you can only make a joint claim if both of you if both meet one of the special conditions. There is a situation involving caregivers. Not all the special conditions apply if you have left care. So you are only eligible for universal credit if you can't work because of disability or illness, and if you or your partner is responsible for a child. The caregiver on universal credit won't get the housing cost element for rent payments. This is important, very important information. If you don't get, normally if you are actually eligible for benefit, if you can't get the housing element, it means you might be able to get housing benefit. And because one way or the other you have to pay your rent, and if you're paying your rent, so that is actually something you can probably conclude if you cannot get the housing element for rent payments. So if you have lived outside the United Kingdom, you will need to give evidence to show that the UK, Ireland, Channel Islands, or Isle of Man is your main home. This is benefit and immigration criteria. This is known as being habitually resident. If you habitually resident, if you provide evidence for habitual residency, it means you actually live regularly in the United Kingdom. You have to do this even if you are a British citizen. For purposes of benefit, actually, whether you're British or foreign, the rules for habitual residency actually applies. So the way to apply for universal credit, and if you're eligible for universal credit, you will usually have to apply online. We have already mentioned this in the previous videos. This is actually repeatable points when you're looking at information online. And if you're eligible for universal credit, you apply online, find out how to get started your universal credit application. You can also get help if you are not sure if you can get universal credit. You can talk to an advisor. Do this also to find out if in other words, get as much help as you can. Let us look at how to apply for universal credit. You should first check if you're eligible for universal credit, and we already discussed this. And if you need to know more about eligibility criteria and how to determine whether or not you are eligible, then leave a comment below for yourself or for general information, for whether somebody would be interested to claim this benefit. This benefit relates to people who live in the United Kingdom, and repeated this in the introductory in this video and in the rest of the other videos. To watch this video is to actually connect this with the rest of the videos which are actually related to universal credit, which is money given to people living in the United Kingdom, and usually these monies, when you you consider this program, this the giving of financial help in the United Kingdom is related. In my program, is related to is related to the cost of living crisis. Remember, in the other videos and also probably in this one, and the cost of living per se is related to income, and income always becomes a problem when looking at the cost of living crisis. It is income related, especially those who are on low income. And in terms of work, in terms of other sources of income, because if you live in a world, you live in the United Kingdom, particularly, you need to have income, normally finance, normally money to buy what you need, and food, energy, water, paying rent, and this is a repeatable condition. So this is something you can pay attention to, whether you are actually in need or whether you're eligible. So there are people who are actually eligible to apply a benefit, but most people don't want to apply a benefit because there are other means of survival. But in practice, normally people really need, they tend to be in need. Some people actually end up being on the street because in most cases, family and friends, the what was previously relationship involving family and friends has now broken down. There has been social change, and this is some point I can actually add to what already I'm actually trying to talk about. So if you're eligible, you will usually have to apply for universal credit online on gov.uk. Like I said, you will then get an online account which you will use to apply for universal credit and keep your claim up to date. You will need an email address and a phone number to create an online account. You can find how much you can find out how to get an email address on the Which website. And if you go online, especially on gov.uk, you will find this information free of charge. If you are reapplying for universal credit, you might not have to go through the full application process again. Find out more about reapplying for universal credit. Check when to apply. Usually it's best to apply for universal credit as soon as you can. That way you will get your first payment sooner. Any delay in applying for benefits, if you feel you might need it, is that you're not going to lose out, because you can only backdate benefit and making a back payment. Usually actually 1 month. In exceptional situation, maybe 3 months. Tend to be maximum. So you can check when to apply. Usually the best to apply universally as soon as possible. If you or your partner are a UK citizen, before you apply, you should check if you are eligible for universal credit. If you are actually not a citizen of the United Kingdom, if you are not eligible to apply for universal credit, applying for universal credit might affect your permission to stay in the UK. Check on your document of immigration if you have something called no recourse to public fund, and also get advice from a specialist, because this is a complex area of law involving public money and immigration status. If you are not eligible, if you are moving to universal credit from other benefit, and if you are universal credit is replacing 6 benefits called legacy benefits. These are actually information we already illustrated. These are housing benefit, income related employment support allowance, income-based job seekers allowance, child tax credit, working tax credit, income support, and you might have to move to universal credit if your situation changes in certain ways. For example, if you separate from your partner or move to a different council area. People always move, people always get separated. You might also have to move to universal credit if you get a letter from the Department of Work and Pension, DWP, telling you to claim universal credit by a certain date. This is when you are being moved from legacy benefit to universal credit. Universal credit is a new type of benefit. The legacy benefit is the old type of benefit. We have discussed this in the other videos. You can watch the other videos alongside this to deepen your understanding. I would like to repeat, this is a very significant public policy on welfare system. What you study with benefit actually will help you to understand the broad situation involving welfare system in the United Kingdom, and this will help you to assess whether or not the movements in policy and practices is such as to in the United Kingdom is such as to close down the public sector, and public sector being closed, therefore closing down as well public services, as we have seen in the other videos in this program, looking at welfare system involving benefit being money given to people who need help on low income. And also we are seeing policies involving employment, especially income related aspect of employment, such as the minimum national minimum wage and national living wage, and which you can find in this information actually in gov.uk. And you're looking at also the behavior and the incident of services, public services in relation to the healthcare services, the hospital, the family medical services, and also schools, otherwise known as educational services, and also looking at housing, public housing in particular, but generally the condition of rent and how to meet the cost of rent, mortgages in the credit economy. If you want to buy a home to live in, that is actually a welfare aspect of your life, be it as it may, that houses are being bought, actually are bought from either the government, but via a commercially structured mechanism like the credit system, also known as mortgaging, which people actually use to buy houses in the United Kingdom, perhaps also in similar countries with similar infrastructure. With capitalism, like I said, there is actually a globalizing of what happened in one country to be replicated in the other countries. And you can still move to universal credit if neither of these things have happened. But it's important to think carefully. If you apply for universal credit, you might get less money. Any legacy benefit you are getting will end, and you won't be able to go back to any of the legacy benefit in the future. Find out more about moving to universal credit from other benefits. If you have left your job, if you have become jobless for one reason or another, if you have got a letter from the DWP telling you to claim universal credit by a certain date, it is called migration notice. You should claim by the date on the letter. If you are waiting to be paid, talk to an advisor. They can help you work out the best time to make your claim. If the date on the letter is soon, the most important thing to claim is to claim before the date. Check what to do if you have got a migration notice. If you haven't got a migration notice, you should wait until the day after you get your final wages or any holiday pay from work. If you get paid after you apply for universal credit, the money will count as income. This means you will get less in your first universal credit payment, you should apply as soon as you can. If you are only waiting for redundancy pay because it doesn't count as income, redundancy pay won't affect how much universal you will get in your universal credit payment unless it brings your total amount of saving to over £6,000. Remember, in the opening, in the other videos, I said if you have in saving £6,000 and below, you will get the full benefit in terms of mean tested benefit. But if you get 6,000 and above, you get some benefit. The more saving you get over and above 6,000, the less benefit you get, respectively up to 16,000. So even if you are getting 16,000 and below, you can still get some benefit, and it is always advisable to claim benefit because there are passports to other support, including grants to do with help with the with energy, water, grants to help with rent arrears and council tax arrears. So if you've been waiting for your last payment from work and need money, it's best to talk to an advisor before claiming. Timing claims after her leaving a job is extremely important if you haven't got a migration notice, and you should delay your claim until the day after you have received your last wages from work. This will ensure your last income from work doesn't get accounted in your assessment period. If you claim universal credit, the best timing is if you leave work, you get paid first, and then you claim universal credit. The money you claim, the money you are paid before claim is not going to be counted. If you actually claim universal credit before you are paid, the DWP will conclude that will include the money you are not yet paid to assess your income for the first payment segment, so you get less money. You're treated as if you are actually you are still in work, or maybe you're going to get less money, or you might not even get money if it is over a certain level. When you are when you should claim, when you should make a claim for universal credit depend on your circumstances. A better calculation will help work out what's best for you. Once you have worked out the best date, you should apply as soon as possible. This will reduce the effect of the 5 weeks wait for your payment, because it's long wait. It's government policy. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, if you're claiming universal credit after migration notice, only a formal migration notice gives transitional protection under managed migration. Therefore, you take note of that, and if you have a different letter, it doesn't affect when you should claim. And if you have got a migration notice, then you should claim by your final deadline. And if you miss the deadline, you will lose the transitional protection from managed migration. We have discussed this before. The final deadline is a month after your deadline day. So your migration notice will say when your deadline day is. If the DWP agreed to extend your deadline day, you will send them a letter confirming a new date. Then your final deadline will be 1 month after the new date. And a new date is set, that will be your new deadline. So you can check when your migration deadline is, when it is, and what counts as migration notice. You can check it. There's a way of checking online. So you have time. If you have time before the deadline, then you might still benefit from waiting until after your final pay or a change of circumstances. So you should do a better of calculation to compare what you what your entitlement would be if you claim before and after the pay or change of circumstance. You can get specialist help from the expert advice team. So this is how it looks on the paper. And if you can't apply online, if you are not able to use the computer, for example, you might be able to apply for universal credit over the phone, or in exceptional circumstances arrange for someone to visit you at home. These are actually options, but also depending on your circumstance and whether or not the DWP will be in a position to help in that way. So you can only use these options in certain situations. You might be eligible if you don't have regular access to the internet, or you aren't confident using a computer or smartphone, or have problems with your sight, have long-term physical disability or mental health condition which stop you from applying online. If you have a physical condition that stops you from using a computer or smartphone, or if you can't read or write, and if you have been released from prison, this is another condition of claim. You can ring a specialist helpline to apply for universal credit and get support. So go online and get these details. So if you need help working out if you can claim by phone or have a home visit, you can talk to one of the advisors in the respective places, either Citizen Advice or local authority or other charities. To make a phone claim or arrange or home visit, you will need to ring the universal credit helpline. Someone else can call for you. When you call, you will hear several options. Choose universal credit queries. This is some of the detail in the process of claiming universal credit as a benefit. So there are guidelines from the DWP on non-digital application, and so you have a right to claim by phone if that's best for someone like you, and you will need to claim to explain why you cannot make an online claim. For example, if you have low digital skills or limited internet access, you can check eligibility for non-digital applications in the DWP's internal guidance. Quote the guidance when making a phone claim on someone else's behalf. And if you are if you have incorrectly told you couldn't apply by phone and then made an online claim, they can challenge you can challenge the DWP decision by asking for mandatory consideration. So contacting the DWP on somebody else contacting DWP on your behalf. If someone else is actually contacting on your behalf, and then you must also give an explicit consent to DWP if you want someone else to access your information and act on your behalf. These are some of the processes. Explicit consent does not last forever. It usually lasts until either the specific request is completed, the assessment period after the one in which the consent was given has ended, it's best to ask for the claim for your case manager if you have one. If you don't know the case manager's name, the DWP will be able to find this out. In either case, the DWP will ask for your details, and including telephone number, the one they gave when they registered for universal credit, the one you gave when you registered for universal credit, and the postcode and the first line of your address. Information such as date of birth, DWP. You can use actually DWP helpline when you need help, and if you are help to claim advisor also, also you can get help from help to claim advisors. These people can call the DWP on high priority phone line to help eligible client, just like yourself, to access universal credit, phone claim, or home visit. This is a dedicated number for certain organizations when they are advising, when they are giving advice as part of help to claim service. So you will then call and tell the DWP your advisor, your name and organization, and explain that you are helping to claim for an individual. This is something you can expect from advisors, and when you are actually if you are actually struggling or to make digitally based support, and you're trying to use a land digital claim, you will also need to stay on the call until it ends. This is because the line is for vulnerable clients who need extra support. If you can talk to the DWP by yourself, then you will need to phone the main universal credit helpline. And these are some of the dynamics of how to claim universal credit. So normally, don't give the priority number. The priority number is not normally given to you or any other client, or is or cannot be used for any other purpose. Otherwise, it will be removed. Universal credit advisor helpline is different from other information, so you can always find this online. You can find out how to use a relay. These numbers, these days, the opening times are actually Monday to Friday, 8 to 6 p.m. So calls are free from mobile phone and landline. These are actually repeated information. So it can take a while to get through to someone. Tell the person you speak to why you can't apply online, and then they will ask you some questions to check your eligibility before going through the next steps of the application with you. If you're eligible for a phone claim or home visit, Job Center and the DWP will keep in touch, either by texting, phoning, sending letters, visiting you in person, or they will ask which is the easiest for you when you apply. So you can start your online application as always, and you will need to apply for universal credit online using gov.uk. You will first need to enter your postcode, and if you don't have an address, you can enter the postcode of the nearest job center. You can find the address of your nearest job center on gov.uk. If you don't have a computer or internet to access, you can use the internet and computer for free at your local job center, local council, local library, if you have a partner, already given this information in the other videos, or actually in parts of this video. You will need to make a joint claim if you live with your partner and you are either married, civil partner, living together as a couple. If your partner isn't eligible for universal credit, you should still make a joint claim, because the DWP need to know about both your incomes. The DWP will change your claim to a single claim when they process your application. This means you or your partner will be paid as if you are a single person. You should make a single claim if you are permanently separated from your partner, even if you still live in the same property. If you have been temporarily apart from your partner for at least 6 months, if you are actually going to be temporarily apart from your partner for at least 6 months, if your client is living with their ex-partner, and these are actually some of the situations, your client will be treated as a single person if they are permanently separated from their partner, even if they are still living in the same property. If your client can show, if you can show that you are living in a separate household, and your expert and your ex-partner's income and capital won't be considered as part of your claim. So the DWP haven't defined the term household, and so they make decisions on a case-by-case basis. You are and you might be able to prove you are living in separate household, by showing you cook and eat meals separately, have separate financial arrangement, have no further plans together. You can always check this information to make a joint claim. You will both need to open separate account. You will be asked during the application if you live with your partner. If you do not, if you do, you will get a linking code when your partner sets up the account, and they should type in this linking code join the account to yours. This turns your claim into a joint claim. You should separate your account at the same time as your partner. It doesn't matter who creates your account first. You will both be able to log into your account separately. When you with a partner, when you are with a partner, when you have a partner, you will be paid as a single person, and the DWP will convert the joint claim, to a single claim if either you or your partner isn't allowed to claim public funds, that is, having no recourse to public funds. You are isn't considered habitually resident. You don't have a right to reside when you need one, or if you are under 18 and not someone who can be eligible for universal credit at 16 or 17. Check when at 16 or 17 you're old 17-year-old, if you can claim universal credit. If you are living outside the Great Britain and not a crown servant or a member of the armed forces who are actually posted overseas. If you are in prison and a prisoner in prison waiting for your trial, or serving as a prison sentence while detained in hospital. It's a some of the situation. The person who is eligible for universal credit will be paid as if you are if they are a single person, and they still need to start by making a joint claim. The DWP will add their income and capital to their partners to work out how much universal credit they will get. Creating your username and password and you will be asked to make a username and password. You will use this to log into your universal credit account. It is important that no one else can get into your account without your permission. If you have made a joint claim and or don't share your username and password with your partner, and you should make your username and password strong and memorable. You can read how to create a strong and memorable password on gov.uk, and it's best if you learn your username or password and don't keep them written down anywhere. You will need to answer a couple of security questions like where you were born or what was the name of the street you grew up on. You will be asked one of these questions even every time you log into your account. You might be asked to add extra security to your account called two-factor authentication. This is optional. If you agree, you will be sent a one-time passcode to your mobile phone. You will then need to enter this code on your account. You will be sent a new code each time you log in or use a new device, unless you log in on the same device within 24 hours. You will be given a 16-digit personal security number PSN after the first universal credit interview with your work coach. You will need them regularly as part of your universal credit claim. It's important to keep the personal security number safe. You will need it if you ever need to create a new password. Helping client remember they are helping you to remember your login. So we're going to stop this process here, and next time we meet, we're going to pick it up from here and carry on talking about universal credit, which universal credit is actually a form of money given to help people who are in need of money in the United Kingdom. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed, share with family and friends or colleagues, and click notification bell, click like, and leave a comment below. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.